Greetings and salutations, boys and girls. Welcome to my channel. I will be your host, Thrones, bringing you another role-playing build known as the Silken Ring Assassin, or basically a Mephala worshipper, if you will it. Lore-wise, the Silken Ring are a hostile group of rogue assassins found in the Cradle of Shadows, basically a dungeon, which... yeah, where is it? Let's find it. Shadows of the Hist, here we go. Cradle of Shadows. They're basically founded by a ex-Morag Tong member called Dranos Velador, and they worship Mephala and serve the Lady of Lace. And, yeah, basically I don't want to spoil what's happening in the dungeons in case you didn't do it. However, the whole theme is around the enemies we find in it. So yeah. Anyways, now for the character. We are playing as a dark elf, Nightblade. The reason why a Nightblade, because we're going with a quote-unquote assassin, even though we're not quite an assassin, but we're going with that Mephala theme. So dark elf definitely have to go with that, because the Morag Tong basically are worshipping Mephala, and the whole cult is all about that, and these are ex-cultists, and yeah, dark elves really have a affinity towards Mephala, and they worship her for 3 reasons only. Look them up. We're playing as a Nightblade because of the red theme, basically shadowy, ready, assassin-y skills. We have the visuals, and we went, or basically, yeah, we went definitely with Magicka on this build, because I went a little bit more of a worshipper rather than just an assassin. So, plus I also made another Morag Tong build, which is going to go stamina, so I don't want them to be the same. Yeah, we went with the Thief Stone because of the extra critical. That's it. Now, for the skills. For the skills, it's quite basic and quite simple. For the front bar, we're going with Impale, a ranged execute, definitely one of the strongest executes in the game. Concealed weapon, while slotted, it gives us minor expedition, increasing your movement speed by 15%. Also, when you leave sneak, invisibility, or major expedition, while in combat, your damage done is increased by 10% for 5 seconds. I don't know if this is actually boosted if we just walk on Twisting Path, however, I believe it is as such. So, yeah, when we're in this one, we can basically get the extra 10%. Plus, it's cost Magicka. If you don't like this one, you can always go with Strife. Or if you want to go with a dual-wielding one, you can go with Hidden Blade. If you're not playing as a Nightblade but want to go with this skill, yeah, it's just, you know, you can go with the fashion without any problems. You can just make it work. However, as I said, Strife if you want to go more range, and Concealed Weapon if you want to go melee. I like melee, so I went with melee. For the third skill, I went with Sap Essence, healing us AoE and giving us Major Brutality and Sorcery. If you want another source but don't like this one, you can always go with the dual-wielding Hidden Blade, as well as the, Magic skill line, Entropy, and morph it into the Generation. That will give you the same buff. However, I like the Sap Essence one, so I'm gonna keep it. Fourth skill, we went with Merciless Resolve, bread and butter for every Nightblade. Even though this is a role-playing build, you're still gonna love it. Let's see, what else? Oh yeah, fifth skill. We went with Camouflaged Hunter. While slotted, you gain Major Savagery and Prophecy, increasing your weapon and spell critical rating by X amount, and you also get Minor Berserk if you flank an enemy, so basically if you attack them from behind. For the ultimate, I believe, yeah, I went with the same ultimate on both bars, and I went with Incapitating Strike because we are a Magicka build and I'm wearing medium armor, so the extra resource management is beautiful. Plus, every single Nightblade I ever built or ever played usually uses the other morph, so I want to change it up a little bit. For the other bar, we went with Dark Shade to summon a shadow. The reason for this one is, if you remember from Fungal Grotto 2, there are shadowy figures, but they are also related to Mephala, so going with the Dark Shade for a Mephala worshipping cultist is a no-brainer. We also went to siphoning attacks, giving us healing for every light or heavy attack, plus we get Magicka back, extra resource management, and you also get a big Magicka pool when the effect ends, but you can also activate it earlier on to get a smaller amount, however it will still help out with the management. Twisting Path, giving us speed and dealing damage. Unstable Wall of Fire gives us, you know, damage and it explodes and stuff. You can always go Lightning, Ice, I don't care. For the last skill, we definitely went with Shadow skill. This skill is located under the untaught skill line, and yeah, it yeets out a couple of webs, quote unquote, with some ticks just walking around, and your ally can activate it to summon a pet spider, wink wink, which will definitely deal quite a bit of damage. It's one of the nicer skills and less used. I don't know why people don't use it. I mean, I get it, it's probably synergy related and all of that, but you know, it's quite fun to have. For the ultimate, it's the same. Ultimate. In case you don't want to go with the staff, you want to go with the bow, just replace the wall of fire with volley. And if you don't want to go shadow, you can always slot on poison arrow for a little bit more poison damage. For the gear. Because we went with Cradle of Shadows themed, the monster set we're gonna go is Velodreth. Every time you deal damage, you have a 20% chance to spawn 3 disease spores in front of you after 1 second that deals X amount of damage. This used to be a meta set to wear, however, I don't know, it probably still is, but yeah, I didn't use it. Unless it's role-playing, so yeah, 3 disease spores, we're gonna go with that. So we're gonna keep the same disease spore with the second set called Widowmaker. When your alchemical poisons fire, you drop a poisonous spore in front of you that bursts after 1 second, dealing quite a bit of poison damage over 10 seconds to all enemies within 5 meters. It's not a big range, however, it's definitely nice to see as a effect. Combining these two, we're gonna go with quite a bit of poison spores. For the last set, I went with a Mephala set. It also drops from Cradle of Shadows. However, this is a heavy set. The reason I went with it on jewelry and weapons is, you know, I don't want, you know, you can always wear it on heavy armor as well if you like that. However, some people like to min-max even though it's a role-playing build. When you take damage, you quote-unquote encase the ground beneath you in webs for 5 seconds. It basically summons another one of these. Literally, it summons another one of these under you, and yeah. And it applies minor breach to them, reducing their physical and spell resistance by X amount, and after 5 seconds it will burst and deal poison damage. And it actually scales off of your higher physical or spell resistance, which is not high, but you know, it's decent, it's decent. We can always increase it with some CP points. Speaking of CP, for the green tree we went with Rationer, Liquid Efficiency, Steed's Blessing, and Mount Speed. For the blue tree, we went with Master at Arms, Direct Attacking, Single Target, a little bit of Wrathful Strikes, a little bit damage, and critical damage and critical healing. You can always slot on Reaving Blows if you like more healing, and you can drop out maybe Deadly Aim or something, I don't know. For the red tree, we went with Boundless Vitality, giving us maximum health. We're getting some armor from Fortified, and every time we kill an enemy, we get Magicka and stamina per kill. You can always slot on a couple of other passives. For example, if you like more speed, you can always drop down maybe the stamina one and just go with more movement speed. Or you can go per kill with Major Expedition. Every time we kill an enemy, we get Major Expedition every 6 seconds on kill. You can also slot on Refreshing Stride. While sprinting, you gain a 500 health and Magicka recovery, if that is your, you know, cup of tea. You can play around with CPs, everything is purely subjective, so go around, go wild. Any alternative stuff for gear? Not really, no. You can always go with more poison if you want to. If you maybe don't like the Ring of the Mephala set, or yeah, you can always slot on something more poisonous. You can go with the alchemical poison build with I don't know, maybe the assassin set from Vardenfell, or you can slot on Venom set from Fungal Grotto. You can play around and see what is the best for your own cup of tea. If you don't have Cradle of Shadows for any of these, well, that's Ripperino. In that case, you can't even have the skin, which is one of the more, you know, beautiful skins in the game. It makes you ugly as hell, like a radioactive meatball from Fallout, and I love it. Yeah, if you don't have these sets, you can always go with the Mephala set from Fungal Grotto 2 as a monster set, and the second set you can always go with the Viper from the same dungeon, and for the third set you can always go with something else that gives you more poison damage. For example, a Vice Cannon of Venom, you can always slot on that one on, or you can go with the from the Vicious Ophidian dungeon trial, I guess, yeah, the Serpent's dungeon, that also deals poison damage per light attack every time if there's a poison on the enemy. For the fashion, I went with Silken Ring on every single thing. The only thing that's light here is the helmet, everything else is... oh yeah, the shoulders and the helmet are light, everything else is medium for my own taste. So you can play around, see if you like the medium or the heavy helmet more. But yeah, if you want to go with the Mephala worshipping cultist, this is definitely the theme for you. Or you can play around and go with the Psychic Monk with the bloodthirsty Psychic Horse. That could fit the theme as well, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Now for the effects, let us try to proc some of them. Oh yeah. So, firstly, the spider beneath us when he take damage. Come on, there we go. It's literally the same set as I said a second ago, so a lot of ticks exploding and dealing poison damage. Yeah. It's lovely to have, and if you have a pet spider, that's even more lovely. In my case, I'm actually having the Cane Scorpion from the Spider Cult. Yeah, I love that one. Anyways, the second effect would be this Spore, and with the Muka, and that was Velodreth. Yeah, definitely a lot of poison spores. Let's try again. Kaboom, kaboom. Come on, come on. Okay, that's spiders. That's spiders. Go on. Yeah, that's Velodreth, basically 3 spores, and we want to proc. That it is. Widowmaker, another spore. So 2 spores and spiders, definitely nice. For the traits, Divines on everything, Bloodthirsty on the jewelry, because damage, why not? I mean, that's the best in slot if you want to deal any type of damage, and while questing around, you don't want to go with less damage. However, it will be still viable. I mean, we are talking about role-playing builds, we're not taking this seriously at all. If we went serious, I probably would run, I don't know, Reliquin with Turning Tide, or maybe the medium set from Falkreath with Tide, and monster set I would go Nightmare with either the Kilt or the Mora's Shoulders, and that's it. You're done when it comes to meta. But screw that. Anyways guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in a minute.